Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to the 2024 World Chess Championship. It is game 10. It is Ding, it is Gukesh. The scores are tied 4.5, 4.5. I've been saying that for quite a while. These guys have been playing, I don't know if you want to call it phenomenal chess, boring chess. There are many ways to describe what they have been doing. They've been either refusing win, trying to win, can't win, defending and not refusing to lose. So we shall see. Quick disclaimer. It's raining outside, so if you pick up any thunder, lightning, rain, um, it's because of this game. This game brought complete sadness, and although you can't see my tears, it's what's causing the rain. So with that, let's get into the game. And the game, for the second time, Ding Liren plays a London. So we get d4, d5, knight f6, knight f3, and we get bishop to f4. So it is a London. Now you recall the previous London that they played was very sharp. It required Gukesh to find only moves, and it eventually peaked down to a draw, but it was very sharp. Ding had chances. That was when Ding tried to force a draw, and Gukesh didn't take it and got himself in a worse position, but Ding wasn't able to fully capitalize or didn't want to push for more than his slight advantage. But today we see the other side of the London because we get e6, e3, c5, which we've all seen before. And Ding kind of played this and gave a check, and the knight came out. It was the bishop traded for the knight. The queen came out to a4 and then slid back trying to win the pawn. The dark squared bishops got traded. Uh, that doesn't happen because Ding plays bishop to e2. We get the bishop offering the exchange. Ding decides to take on c5. Gukesh recaptures. We get Ding playing c4, striking at the center, but Gukesh castles. Ding castles. The Gukesh develops his bishop. Nothing complex here. If you require more explanation on this, there are other places to look for it. But they've played 8 moves in 5 minutes. The players you can see are thinking it through how they want to approach the position, but it is completely solid. You play this move to just try and disturb the center because if you can take and take, maybe you can get an isolated pawn, an IQP, an isolated queen's pawn, and that might be something Ding can play. You don't want to take right away because you would have to trade queens, and we don't want to do that just yet. So castles, castles. Gukesh just developing his knight, following basic principles. Ding does the same, allows the capture. We get the trade, the bishop captures, and ladies and gentlemen, this is like completely symmetrical. The only thing missing is this bishop is not there. So if I move this bishop here, the position would be completely symmetrical. That is the only thing. This bishop might struggle to get out, but it's not going to struggle because we first get Gukesh trying to attack the dark squared bishop, and then the players do have to spend some time here. So Gukesh spends a lot of time on knight h5 because he's got a whole lot of candidate moves. Knight h5 is the best one. There's also b6 looking for a fianchetto, and there's also just queen takes d1. Each has got its own connotations, so Gukesh spends his time, his 25 minutes, and decides to go knight h5. Uh, Ding then moves his bishop over, he doesn't want it to be captured, and it attacks the queen. And then we get Gukesh retreating his bishop. That's obviously what he spent his time on. And Ding spent his time equally on the move bishop to g5, attacking the queen. So the player's really considering this. Then we get bishop to e7. Uh, he so again, you can go back here, which is what Gukesh chooses. You can also just take this queen. Uh, I would not. I wouldn't worry about this bishop. I would just take the queen. But they obviously know something I don't. So we get the retreat of the bishop. Uh, Ding swings his knight over, so that when this knight returns to the square, it can be traded. So then we get the knight returning, it gets traded, and then we get the queen swap, and Gukesh elects to take with his rook, activating his rook, because, and it does lead to his pawn structure being compromised, but he's at least got the active rook to use, because alternatively, if you take with the bishop, um, it does surrender a bit of advantage, because you still get this exchange. Yeah, so that's how it goes. So we get the exchange, and Ding just develops his rook to the center of the board. Uh, Gukesh finally develops his light squared bishop, so maybe the knight will be moving to the center of the board and it can come out this way. The rook moves to c1. The light squared bishop does in fact just complete its little maneuver. It allows now a trade of rooks potentially to happen again, and it does. The king gets moved over because now we are entering towards an endgame. It's move 20, going to be move 20. This is move 19, king to f1, and the players have got an hour on their clocks. So haven't had to think too much about this game. Often Ding gets to this position with 30 minutes on the clock. They're relatively balanced. We get king to g7. Again, the main idea is maybe we get like a, not that, maybe we get like f5 and then king coming this way. Ding just makes an improvement move, h3. This allows the knight coming this way, gives the bishop a chance to go back if it needs to. There it is, f5, king e2, king e1, uh, king f6, the bishop returns home, the knight comes back, it'll look to maybe plant itself in the center of the board. Ding just plays this move g3, perhaps maybe looking to build for h4 to take space on the queen side, taking away some squares from the black king. And Gukesh offers another trade of rooks, which they take. 50 minutes to 42, 24 moves played. There is a rule in the World Championship that you're not allowed to offer a draw before move 40. But you are allowed to do one other thing, which is repeat moves. Or, resign. That's what you're allowed to do before move 40. You can flag, you can resign, and you can repeat moves to make a draw. So we get the knights that go and get traded. And ladies and gentlemen, this position is move 27. The only imbalance is this pawn. This pawn. If it was here, the position would be almost symmetrical. They've got same color bishops, which is not as drawish as opposite color, because with opposite color you would blockade on one color complex. So if anyone's going to try and play this, it might be Ding, because all of these pawns sit on light squares. But it is going to be still very drawish. It's 0-0-0, 46 minutes to 42. There's nothing, no visible targets as yet. So Gukesh moves his bishop from the back rank, and now, it's more active, cutting the board. And Ding just plays f4. It just takes away these squares. It takes space on the king side. We get b6, just putting a pawn on a dark square. The king comes up. The king comes up. The kings are going to try and make their way to the center of the board where they will be most active. That's where you want most of your pieces to be. And the kings get to the center of the board. Before that, Ding plays the move b4, taking more space. We get f6, just taking the pawn off a light square. So this pawn is now a target, but the bishop really is not going to get anything. And we get here. So the final pawn gets moved to a dark square. These are the only two ones left on light squares, and there's not much you can do. So the players here make a draw, and game 10 ends in a draw. We've got 4 games to go in the World Chess Championship. The scores are completely tied. It's 5-5. Today, nothing happened. It makes recaps really difficult to make them sound interesting, but nothing happened. They played a London, they traded the pieces, and repeated moves that made a draw before move 40. They had 45 minutes and 38 minutes left on their clock. What can you do? If you enjoyed the video, leave a like. If you didn't enjoy it, leave a comment on how I can improve. If you want to see more from me, subscribe. I will see you tomorrow for game 11.